And we'll knock them white folks over, take all their guns, get some more rafts, and go for another day down the river. Stop there and knock them white folks over. By the time, within about 2-3 weeks, we have made several raids on plantations, and we got about 50 guns by now, because every plantation had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guns. And all their supplies, powder, and everything. And they ain't got no way to catch up with us, because they ain't got no way we going down by the speed of the stream. And by that time, if we know the map, we can go back somewhere in there and find out where the Indians are. Still a few Indians in them days. We can hang with y'all for a little while. And then where's your other people at? They didn't know that. They didn't know nothing. There's news of armory right now. And as if the white man ain't gonna be that waiting. You know, if all your brothers was in the jail, where would you be going to first? To the jail to get your brothers out? No, not me. You have to wait a while. We're going to get some more folks, and we're going on out a couple of years. If you're still there, we're going to come back and get you. But we sure ain't going to get you now, because the movement has to survive. The movement has to grow. The movement has to develop. The movement has to develop spies, institutions, manufacturing. We got to know where they keep weapons at along the way. Where they're unguarded, like when we grew up, the National Guard Army was just sitting right down the street. There was nobody there. Because wasn't nobody going to raid it and take the guns, right? They didn't start putting guards on until niggas started raiding them during the rebellion and taking the weapons. Before that, they might have one guy sitting up in there. Fundraising, public relations. Public relations is important. All our allies, we have to consider how to get the word out to do the best thing, right? It's part of public relations. So we have to follow what Allah said. Say the words is true and correct. And I want to read just the one I didn't read yesterday, but it says the same thing. O those who believe, fear Allah and speak what is straightforward. Allah will correct your deeds for you, for your benefit, and forgive you your sins. What is straightforward is sadid, which has been explained by some commentators as what is truth. Others explain it as straight, while others as correct. Quoting all of these, Ibn Kathir calls all of these truth, on the beam hitting the target. The Holy Quran has chosen this word instead of Sadiq and Mustaqim because the present word holds all the attributes and ideal speech within itself. It was for this reason that in Ruhul Bayan, Kul Sadiq is the saying of what is true, having no trace of falsity, correct, having no trace of error, right thing being no joke or fun, spoken softly and not harshly. The basic command given to all Muslims in this verse, take to taqwa, that is, fear Allah and act accordingly. The reality of taqwa lies in one's total obedience to all divine injunctions, whereby one carries out everything enjoined and abstains from everything declared prohibited and repugnant. It is obvious that doing so is no easy task for human beings. Therefore, immediately after the main guideline, attaqullah, fear Allah and act accordingly, there appears an instruction to start doing something particular. That is, the correction and reform of one's speech. The correction and reform of one's speech. Through this, though this too is nothing but a part of taqwa itself, yet it is one such part of it that should this thing come under control, all other remaining components of the comprehensive requirement of taqwa would start becoming achievable automatically, as the verse itself has promised, that as a result of one's making his or her speech truthful and straight, Allah will correct his deeds. In other words, it means that you should succeed in holding your tongue and avoiding errors of speech, and get used to saying what is correct, straight, and right. Allah Ta'ala will correct every other deed you do and make all of them better. Then, concluding the verse, another promise was made, and it was said, and he will forgive you your sins. It means that one who gains control over his tongue learns to harness his or her power of speech and become used to saying what is true and right. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of the rest of his or her deeds, have them corrected and made better, as well as forgive any errors therein. I'm going to skip to another. Saying what is right leads to doing what is right. We did already discuss that before. This is the last one. Oh, you believe, be in awe of Allah and speak you the right word. He will adjust your works for you and will forgive you your sins. And whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, then indeed he has achieved a great success. Sadid is derived from Sad, which is a sense of firm and unchangeable, which adapts with the truth and reality. It adapts with the truth and reality. It is a statement which is similar to a strong dam, stands against the waves of corruption and falsehood. Then, if some of the commentators have rendered it into right, and some others into free from false and idle talk, or outward being adapted with inward, or the like, all are meant in the above inclusive. I'm going to skip and go to the end here. He will adjust your works for you and will forgive you your sins. The Holy Prophet ﷺ, in a tradition, has said, the faith of a servant of Allah does not truly straighten unless his heart straightens, and his heart does not straighten unless his tongue straightens. It is interesting that in another tradition, Imam Sajjad has said, every morning everyone's tongue inquires after other limbs' health and says, how are you? And all of them in reply to the tongue's affection answer, we are fine, if you let. Then they added, by Allah, be careful of us. Verily, we will both get reward because of you, and we will be punished because of you. So the other limbs, everything is basically following the tongue in this way. I said that to mention the concept that we talked about, number 2. I said that we were proud of the job we're doing. But I said that number 1 thing was grateful. And number 4 on this thing, and heading to California, is community development. Now, when we go to Oakland, probably this first trip, we spend a couple of weeks there and get ready for the second trip. Of course, we'll come back here for Eid around maybe a week before the first, so we won't be out there in a couple of weeks. Now we'll be getting the groundwork laid for coming back and opening the Masjid again, and we're going to be like we was when we first opened up. We're going to be on all shows, not on all shows, but we got our speaker. We're going to be visiting all the Masjid. We're going to be visiting all the people. We're going to be giving lectures daily on our old corners where you used to hang, you know. And there's still a few people know us. We're going to get around, we're going to tell them through pictures and speeches what's been happening for the last 45 years. They've heard a lot about it. We're going to go downtown to the FBI, to the federal building, and we're going to give talks out there. We're going to go to the Oakland Police Department downtown and the Oakland Police Department, the OPD, on 73rd Avenue. That's in our neighborhood, like the district office. And we're going to talk about this whole thing that's been going on. But we're going to be talking about it in a way to try to help people come to a knowledge and a reality of life is not over yet. You was dealt a bad hand. We survived. They dealt us the same hand. We survived it. We're here now to tell you how. So you're 70 years old. Life ain't over yet. You're still alive. And our mission to help the people improve their lives, right? Remember, area of influence, right? That's the area that we have some action in. Area of concern, we're going to get to that in a while. There's another point about the speech. Speak a word that's directed to the correct way, to the right. The reason we take our time is because we want to work through, like we always have, we want to work through our colorism. Because when people do stuff, say, man, that was 2002. That's 15 years ago. Right? We didn't jump right on that. We didn't just jump up and say, man, y'all some dirty niggas, or y'all just didn't hear us. Okay, fine. So we hadn't set the stage until 2005. And it was 2007 when the fire was lit real good under abdul-alim. Shoot, that's a good 4 years. In the meantime, we have been giving lectures on whether it's physical, psychological, or any other way. We're ready to deal with this. In other words, whether it's psychological warfare, whether it's physical messing around, whether it's medical, messing with a nigga's body and everything else, which it don't make no difference. And we did that. We got that covered. But that was several years. Here it is 15 years later, we're making the big approach. You gotta remember now, what we've been doing all of this time. We're just taking punches right now, but 10 years ago, what did we say? This is a done deal, it's all over. Why? Because of the environmental circumstances. And we didn't go out to just destroy everybody and call them a bunch of names, but we hit it pretty well so everybody knows. That's part of the psychological warfare. That's part of the air war. To defend ourselves. to make sure that they can't knock you over. They can't. And now they knock Negroes over by the day. It don't make no difference. We saw what they did to Imam Jamil. What did they try to do in Oakland? They looked at Imam Jamil and they said, well, we tried the first time to get him, and many times. But the way to get him is not to crime and what have you, just make him mad. So remember how phony acting the dope dealers was down there? And they say Imam Jamil or somebody shot the Negro. Well, he got through that. Okay, he got through that. Then they say, well, we're going to come straight at him. And it is said by some of the people supposedly in the group that he's supposed to have said, if they come to me like such and such, I'm going to take care of it. I don't believe he said anything like that, because that would be an open invitation for them to do that. Oh, you don't like that? Remember, old Sam don't care what it is he get, what trap he trap you with. If he didn't use everything in his arsenal, somebody come by with another trap that say, you tried this, he say, I tried. You know, ain't gonna hurt nothing, right? That's what they did with us. They said, the niggas is the same. We will insult them. We will do this, we will do that. And they listened to everything we said. Old Khadijah called me when the government let them in our bank account. Yeah. And then my family's listening. Yeah. You said you ain't been broke in 50 years. Y'all remember that talk? You broke now. Yeah. You thought we were stupid, didn't you? No, in fact, every other people said you were stupid. We didn't ever call you stupid. Just because you are now. Can you imagine? Imagine, just this little side thing. Somebody's going to call the police many times and have them put you in a car in front of your educational center and let them run all around and they didn't shot dogs and stuff. Okay? They didn't call the police and said your sons are dope dealers and then give the open the door for the police, and the police don't find no guns and no drugs. And they did that in public. They think they're doing it to only their public. See, because everybody around is polices at that time and cooperating with the police, including family. Everybody seeing all of this is all police affiliated. They figured it was work. They didn't figure that you're going to wait 3 or 4 years and then run the story with the paperwork over and over again, or show pictures of flat tires of your van, right? Or remind them of Indian guys coming, taking back their bayah, or that you are in the Masjid at 12 midnight and the police come and take you out of the place where you've already been for 35 years, and everybody in this region knows it, and take you to jail for trespassing. Which even if you were to trespass, if you were squatting in a house, the police got to give something to get you out of there. They can't just come and beat you upside the head and take you out of the house. It's the law, right? Even if you're in a place and you're going to overspend your rent, I mean, you ain't paid your rent in a while, they got to get a court order, right? They got to get a court order to come to, not with, okay, all of that. They didn't expect us to be here, calm, relaxed, and smiling, and telling this story. And the story of old. They just say that they own this property and they go sell a property, a whole block of property. They just sell it, they put his name. there is something insanity about it that like, oh, you can do that, right? See, the mistake is Daeshism in America. Remember, Daesh can kill people anywhere in the world, and it's Daesh. Saudi Arabia can support Daesh, right? They supported Taliban, they supported everybody, right? They support the killing right now. Can you watch the news and then without crying when you watch Yemen today, right now today? But Saudi Arabia can do it. The 911, they say 13 or 15, I don't know, the whole crew was from Saudi Arabia. That's what they say. But they gave, the New York court said that they can get money from Iran's funds that they was holding up because of 911. But all the people was from Saudi Arabia, not from Iran. You remember that?
Yeah.
This is people that's cool. Look, they don't have to make sense. They just do that, right? That's what they thought they was going to do in Oakland. And guess what? We let them do it. We let them do it. Why? Because we done engineered you over there. Okay, we always talk about Star Trek. Star Trek, remember, go beyond where no one has gone before. Okay, we really going on a ride now. But this is the second trip of taking them beyond where they've been. You got to remember, if they stopped at Malcolm, if they stop at King, right? If they stop at Stokely Carmichael, he changes himself and develops a program that can't be successful, right? You know, all just on the campus, right? People 40 years old, I don't know if you remember, on the campus, we're going to develop a vanguard on the campus only, forget about the community. Okay, and some of the guys who are nice people, they had to have something to smoke, and they had to have a girl when they came to speak, you know what I mean? So definitely Imam Jamil wasn't like that, so you could figure out who it was. With programs like that, you can't solve any human problems because you're too busy getting high and having sex with your followers, right? People googly-eyed is the great so-and-so, right? That stuff, okay. They thought, we'll do that to them, and they'll get mad. Every one of those things never got mad. And each time, each confrontation, there was one time I was almost getting ready to eye twitch, but I didn't. But when I was talking to you on the phone, I went inside the Masjid. There's Mukhtar, you know, name calling and getting in front of you real tough and turning sideways. And so I said, I'm going inside. Because I was thinking about maybe responding. And there was only one other time when we had that 500,000 people downtown. And Marty Brave was on the stage. He was on the stage and he said something. It ain't no big deal, but it's stupid. And your eye get to twitching. I just walked away. Because, you know, when you get like that, bam, you can, you know what I mean? So I just walked away. One time, out of all of this foolishness, that shows self-control, self-discipline. That showed that we in charge of ourselves. Remember when they talk about the tongue and what you say? Those Negroes have said so much stuff, it's ridiculous. They said it, we got it on recording. We'll start playing it when we go to program. We got the loudspeaker, we just play it. That's what this guy said. And we'll pray it in front of mosque, and open, we'll pray it all. That's what they said. Now y'all in that masjid, you ran away from our masjid. This is what your homeboy said. You know, okay. Muslim Parliament, fundraising, public relations, community development. It's about people. We really headed for the masses. They thought that we would stay where they got us surrounded, but they're going to have to go to all the people, because we're going to do exactly opposite of what we've been doing the last several years. Why? Because what we've been doing the last several years, allowing ourselves to be encircled, because we can imagine and taste how much attention do we have, how much are they listening to us. And we can do something every other week or once a month to test them. How much they listen, how much they say that right. And so, can you imagine, we give some false numbers sometimes, but here's what we want to say. With the whole United States government, with the collaborators and offices, with people in foreign ministries, with literally every group here in America, you can tell when we go to their program, they all know who we are and they all know what the story is. And no matter how friendly people was last year, they act looking funny and acting real shaky this year, right? Okay. So that was for that period. Now we're in a new period. Now the last stage we talk about is, if you do this right, and if you trust in Allah and you do this stuff of taqwa, Atiullah wa Rasuluhu, where you obey Allah and His Messenger, He's going to set right your affairs and your behavior and don't hook you up like you need to be hooked up. So when we go to Oakland, we're going to do the appropriate thing. We're not going to say, them niggas act funny with me, I got the right. See, we've been stalked on the phone, stalked in real life. You know, technically, I can defend myself. If somebody come up to the masjid talking crazy, I can blow them away. Just like that. Cause what? They did this, son, what are you talking about? If you can shoot a Negro cause he feels, you threaten cause he just rolled his eyes, well, what about these niggas who called me on the phone, followed me around, and they do all of this time after time, and you don't do nothing? You must have sent them. How can they do that? And then they come up to the masjid at midnight and scared me to death, and the gun went off. Absolutely not. Nothing like that. No physical confrontation at all. None. We done already won the psychological battle. It's like when we psychologically mess with the police out there and they come back the next day want a rematch. No. We done already knocked y'all in Oakland. Now if you come around mess around, we're gonna do what's appropriate. But you can be sure one thing, ain't gonna be no physical confrontation, ain't gonna be nothing like that. But when we lay down the law, you can't come in here no more, you ain't coming. But we ain't gonna let nobody engineer us into no physical confrontation. But when we open up, they can't come around, they can't do nothing. Like I told the police, stay out of there, I want them in the masjid. And I went down to the police station, and the police woman running in the back like that. I said, this is the ownership of the buildings and this, that, and another. They go right in there whenever they want. People say they hold meetings, they do. And none of them live in Oakland anymore. Them niggas don't come in Oakland no more. They scared to come in Oakland. They run in Oakland, dude, and one of them is with them. The one, Hassan Nuruddin's brother. Hassan Nuruddin was one of the encirclers from 1981 to about 85. And when we told him we had to go because of what he was doing, and it's too much to talk about the technology they thought they were using. He said, you don't know what you're up against. I said, you don't know what you're up against. He met the whole United States government. See now, he was next to us in Oakland when they destroyed the Dar. His brother to go to the Masjid now, the brother to drive that yellow vet, these are yellow now, little petty boxer or something. He was sitting up under the Dar on this end. Hassan Nuruddin's brother. And Hassan Nuruddin was sitting up under us in Oakland. The Dar crumbled just like that. And they do all the stuff to us, they ought to get the idea now. Hey man, when Allah signed the thing for us to go, we going. Until then, you amateurs people, see, this is what I want everybody to understand. There's a difference between newspaper Negroes and people that have to earn everything. Okay, Imam Jamil was all right, Stokely Carmichael was, they're all right. But they had a lot to do with newspapers, right? You never saw us in a newspaper except once or twice with Talladazes and stuff like that. Everything we did, every decision we made is a life and death situation in the dunya. In Africa, supporting the rebellion. In South America, in Colombia, in those days, Bogota and Medellin were two of the most dangerous cities in the world. Just being there. So, the newspaper can say, oh, this is a gorilla nigga here. Oh my goodness, right? But that's what the newspaper's saying. That's not what real life dictates. You see what I mean? Just like, no matter what do the newspapers say about everybody that was on us all here, all, what's his name, Jacksons and all them people. And you know, the normal crew. What does the TV, what does the books, all of them say? These are gangsters. These are Muslims, right? That's what they say, isn't that right? Yeah. About them.